All right, I guess we're streaming live now. Thursday, April 8th. It's the Morning Buzz. I'm going to start off this morning with some music. I just feel like listening to some music. This is my band, The Small Kicks. This is a great song. Billy Thompson wrote this song. He is one of my longest, dearest friends, guitar player, songwriter, singer in the band. Let's kick it off with some music. And Facebook and YouTube can't take this down because we own this music. Here we go. This is a song called 440 by the Small Kicks. Let's see here. That's Billy right there.
Driving down the back road, the same ones that our parents did. Just trying to make her own way.
Billy wrote this song about growing up in Paso. It's about driving around on the back roads, being a kid.
Everyone was more golden. That 440 with the family. Boys and girls want to get out. Another crossing sun up ahead. One about another watch out. That 440 advancing.
This is us at Barrel House a few years ago. We had a lot of fun that day. We're going to do that again this summer. Billy again.
Everybody's dressed up, wearing the high school best. High top kicks and flannel shirts. You with a plaid skirt never hurt. And we swore one day we could be like the folks ever can. We wouldn't stop till we got there. That 440 with the family, boys and girls wanna get
A lot of familiar faces in the crowd. Todd Andrew is our lead guitar player. He's on guitar right here doing this solo. It's him with the long hair over there.
And we used to play his name that replaces the folks who never been. And we're pretty sure one day we could get there. And we used to play
You're gonna have to bear with me.
his name that replaces the folks who never been. But without me, I was sure Brooklyn could get there.
This is my favorite part of the song. This is the best part of the song. I love this part. All right, that's 440, a song by my band, The Small Kicks. Billy Thompson wrote that song about growing up in Paso, driving around the back roads with his friends in an old 440. So I don't even know what a 440 is. I think it's a car or a truck or some kind of thing. But yeah, the video is, we actually shot this video. Gosh, this might have been 6 years ago now. Barrel House Brewing Company. We shot a video for our song Paso Made, and just had a great time that day. And it was just a lot of fun. So good stuff. Good fun times. Looking back 6 years ago, my daughter was 12 years old. My son was 10 years old. And I got to tell you, like, seeing them as little kids running around Barrel House with the other little kids, when I'm on stage and mom's with her friends enjoying a beverage, and just the sun shining. And I mean, it was just a lot of fun. It was a great environment. Barrel House does an awesome job of creating that environment. And, they're getting more and more popular and bigger. And so it's now more of a tourist destination, right? But they still have that down home, like hometown feel good vibe. And yeah, my band has been lucky enough to play there. We've probably played there 25 times in the last 10 years. So really cool. So Billy just texted me. What did he say? Billy says, a guy I know just messaged me and asked if I was in the band with you. Let's get Billy on the phone. Hold on. Can we call him? Let's see here. This is impromptu. All right, Billy, you're on the Morning Buzz right now. Good morning.
Oh, shut up.
Just so you know, we debuted 440 as the opening song this morning.
Oh, that was the rumor that I heard. Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I showed one of the videos of us at Barrel House and played 440. And what? So is the 440 a real car?
No, it's just talking about the engine, but the car that we would roll around belonged to this guy that was a year ahead of us named Matt Dinkle. It was a Dodge, an old Dodge sedan that we called the Dodge 40. Its nickname was the Iron Maiden, and it was this. We literally had pulled out the back seat so that of us could fit in between the trunk and the rear, so it would fit like 6 people in the back, and we had speaker wires going from the radio over the front seat to the cracked little speaker in the back, and we used to rip around Paso and Atascadero and Tomorrow Bay in that thing.
Well, if the 440 ran as good as the cell phone signal that you have, then I'm sure you broke down a lot.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right, I'll let you go. Yes, we did play 440. That was not a rumor. It's confirmed, and I love you, and I love that song, and so I'm gonna keep playing it. Billy Thompson, everybody. All right, that's Billy's Morning Buzz debut. See you, bud. All right, Billy Thompson is the head of sales at Barrel House Brewing Company. Billy Thompson also was my shift manager, my shift supervisor at McDonald's growing up. Yes, we worked at McDonald's. There was a McDonald's. Gosh, I don't even know what it is now. It was a tack store for a minute, and it's in the parking lot there at Tractor Supply in Paso. That was a McDonald's. We all worked there. Pretty much the whole town worked there. Billy Thompson was my shift supervisor in high school. I used to pick him up in my Volkswagen Carmen Ghia at like 4:30 in the morning. We'd roll over to McDonald's, and I'm paying for it now with my cheeks being as chubby as they are. Pretty sure I ate 17 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits every single morning. We just kind of kept making them and eating them all the time. So yeah, that's not a healthy diet, but man, they were so good. The cheese melted. Sure, they're really, really good for you. So Billy was the shift manager there. He also, I've known him since we were 3 and 4 years old. I think 4 and 5. We went to Georgia Brown together. We grew up together. I was living down south in 2010, and I called Billy up and I said, "Hey, I'm coming up to Paso. I'm playing 3 shows. I'm starting a band, and by the way, you want to be in it?" And he's like, "Sure, okay. I don't know any of the songs." And I said, "Don't worry about it. I don't know any of the songs either." So my drummer, my bass player, my guitar player, my keyboard player, we drove up to Paso the night before our first 2 shows, and we got to Billy's house, and we rehearsed for about 6 hours and learned a bunch of songs. And then we went out the next day and played at Chronic Cellars, and then Diambino Winery. And then the next day, Sunday, I think we played at Peachy Canyon. So we had a whirlwind kind of opening day or opening weekend for the Small Kicks. Back then we were known as the Connection, which I love that name still. But yeah, the Small Kicks were born, I believe, ZinFest weekend 2010-ish. I don't know. So Billy Thompson wrote that song. I absolutely love it. Todd recorded it, produced it, and here we are today, 11 years later, still a band. We still love each other, and we still fight like a bunch of housewives. So good stuff. All right, so right now it's 7:10. We have a packed show. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. 4:40 just gets me amped up. Okay, we got a packed show today. I went to the lab this morning. I worked out at 4 a.m. and oh yeah, it's time for my morning 75 hard challenge update, because I know that you guys tune in just to hear how it's going for me. Day 10, I haven't broken it yet. I'm still going strong. My legs were kind of hurting me yesterday. So I did 3.5 miles in the afternoon listening to a podcast. I took it kind of slower. My pace was like, I think 13 minutes, where I've been kind of going around 11 minutes. I think I've ran like 9.5, 10-minute mile, but I've been kind of keeping it just kind of low key, just to get that heart rate going, get some legs moving, get some exercise going. So I went to the lab this morning, and Bradford and I filmed a little bit of a stretching routine that we do. I'll show that here later. We're going to probably kick off some type of segment called Wellness Wednesday at some point, where Bradford's going to come on and talk about all the things that I'm doing wrong with my body, and then correct me. And so I filmed it this morning. I'm having a little bit of a hard time uploading it to get it to the spot where I can show it to you guys. And you guys are probably like exhaling, going, oh gosh, thank the Lord we don't have to watch Mike stretch. But I think it's whether you want to watch me stretch or not, I think it's good content. I think Bradford is super knowledgeable. He is a great guy, and these are all stretches that anybody can do anywhere. And yeah, so we'll start with that. At some point, we'll get this video uploaded, and I'll share it with you. So we'll do that today, hopefully. Templeton Youth Football is back, apparently. We're going to find out this morning at 7:30. We have a couple people from Templeton Youth Football, the head of the cheer and the head of the football, Randy Doty. And I forget how to pronounce her name. Is it Kayla? Kayla is coming in. Kayla Blasky. She's in charge of the cheer. And so her and Randy Doty will be on at 7:30. And then you guys answered the call. I threw it out there. I've been looking for a nutritionist. I still want somebody who's like more of a holistic type doctor that can talk to like food and wellness and those things. But we do have a certified nutritionist coming on and a health and wellness coach this morning. You guys probably know a couple of the girls from our neighborhood. Lindsay Taylor, she's the cheer coach at Templeton High School. She's a certified nutritionist. And then Terry Wilson is one of the moms of three high schoolers here at Templeton. She's a health and wellness coach. And so they're both going to come in, tag team, kind of talk health, nutrition with us. I'm going to ask them a bunch of dumb questions to kind of figure out what I'm doing wrong with my diet and see if I can tweak a couple things. So they're going to come in this morning. And then for those of you who were tuning in yesterday and saw that we had a little bit of a connectivity issue, my dad debuting his podcast and his book, we were able to reconnect in the afternoon yesterday and then do a interview. So I recorded that. We'll air that this morning as well. It's a really good interview. It's fun to talk to my dad because he's old school Paso radio guy, right? So he's got stories of like when KPRL had a FM signal, and it was actually KPRL and KPRA. And then KPRA, when KPRL was sold, not to Kevin Will, but to somebody before that, they changed KPRA to KDDB, and KDDB was 92.5 Country. And I'm not sure how many of you guys remember that, but my dad was the morning show host of 92.5 Country, and Tom Gaffuri was on the channel too, doing some stuff on the nights and weekends, I think, and afternoons. And then when my dad went into sales, Tom Gaffuri came in and was the morning guy. And so really cool. Dick Mason, another guy that my dad worked with. Dick started a station called US 98, and that was back in the mid 80s. And so my dad worked for Dick in sales over there at US 98. And yeah, so it was fun to kind of dig up some of those old memories with him, talking about radio on the Central Coast in the 80s and 90s. And you know, I tell the story of when Tom Gaffuri was just a young, like fresh out of college kid coming into KPRL to do work. And I remember meeting Tom for the first time when I was probably 11 years old. And, you know, he wasn't much older than me. He was probably 22 or something. But yeah, really fun to kind of recapture some of those memories. So we're going to air that interview here in the 8 o'clock hour, and then we're going to just see what else is going on today. All right. Speaking of what's going on today, we're going to check in with Mr. Anthony Reed. Anthony runs Paso Robles Incidents and Actions, and he is here to tell us what is going on in and around the North County. What's happening?
Hey, not much. It's kind of a somber day for me here, as it was 1 year ago today, actually, at 4 o'clock in the morning when you were in the gym. 1 year ago, I was in a deadly car accident. So today is kind of a somber day. So
today's a day of celebration. You're celebrating 1 year of being alive when you should have been dead. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Wow. Well, that's definitely a miracle that you survived. And it sounds like you've had a long road of recovery, and you're still going through that. So obviously we want to continue to wish you well. Yeah, man, we're glad you're here. That's something that nobody should ever have to go through. So we're glad you're here.
Yeah, it's definitely appreciated. I had one person, and not taking negative or anything like that, but I had one person last night kind of critique me on my video that kind of pissed me off a little bit, but we're keeping it positive, so we're moving past that. So
hey, you know, they're critiquing you on you being on the show? No,
on the recovery video that I made.
Oh, got it. Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah, and so their comments just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and so I've been praying on it all night, and it's just the Lord is just telling me that you can't listen to what every person says.
Yeah, so, for sure. Haters are gonna hate, and that's part of it, and you just can't let that deter you, right?
Yeah, so that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way yesterday, but it's all good though. I know what I've been through, and I know what I've done and all that. So
you look good. You got some bright lighting. You got a bright shirt on. You're smiling. Yeah. So hey, God is good, right? You're here.
Yeah.
All right. So no incidents this morning?
No. It was actually a relatively quiet night. Nothing really going on with any department in the area, which is a good thing. CHP has 0 incidents to report this morning. So far, it's a quiet morning.
Beautiful.
Yep.
All right, man. We'll check back with us here at the end of the hour at 7:55-ish, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. All right, that's Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions Facebook page. You can follow him to get all the latest and greatest reports of what's going on in and around the county. Hey, so good news. Congratulations to the Templeton High School boys baseball team. These guys, let's first, Ryan Domingos, congratulations on having like the game of your life yesterday. That's unreal. Okay, so Ryan had a perfect game going 5 1/3 innings. Then somebody got a single, but then Ryan picked the kid off on first base, I guess, a couple pitches later. And so he had 18 batters faced in 6 innings. He also went 2 for 2 with a double and a single, a sacrifice fly, and a walk. So Ryan Domingos just had a day at the ballpark, and that's exciting. Robbie Lardner came in to close it out and get the save. Would you call it a save if you're up 9-0? I guess you do. So Templeton beat Pioneer Valley 9-0. Congratulations, Templeton Eagles baseball team. You guys continue to roll. That's exciting news. Rob Pumpkins, if you're listening, Rob, we need to get a weekly baseball update going here. I'm supposed to connect with you. We've talked about it. I think it's just about time that we get this thing rolling. So next week, maybe we can get Rob or somebody from the baseball team to come in. Maybe we'll get Trent back. Trent Wills, he did a great job. Good kid, well-spoken, clean cut. Handsome. The camera, he works well with the camera. So who knows? Definitely not Tony Domingos. We can't get him on camera. I got a feeling that that's not going to go well. Just kidding, Tony. I love you. What else is going on? I don't have any updates for sports. I should have updates for sports. Volleyball played yesterday. How did I come up with the name for my band? Lori, that's a good question. So originally I called the band The Connection. And The Connection was something that I wanted to, I wanted the result of my band performing to be a connection with the audience. And so I called the band The Connection. My bandmates hated that name. They were like, that's lame. Okay. So then they came up with the name The Small Kicks. And the way we came up with that was Todd Andrew, our guitar player, was dating a girl, and now he's married to the girl. But she's real small, and she's just a really happy-go-lucky girl, great personality. And like when she laughed, she would kick up her leg all the time, and then kick up the leg. So we called her Small Kicks as a nickname, and that stuck. And then when we went to rename the band, everyone's like, well, we should call it the Small Kicks. And so the meaning behind it, it was named after Taylor, who's Todd's wife, and now it's the Small Kicks to me means like, hey, life's about just finding where you can get a small kick, right? Like in all of the peaks and valleys, you want to find those certain moments where you're just getting a kick out of life. And so the little small moments. So that's the Small Kicks to me. So I don't know, something fun. We're actually putting together another band right now. This is going to be something fun. I think it's not going to be the Small Kicks. It'll be some of the members of the Small Kicks and then a couple other people. But I think we're going to put together a country cover band and just play like top country hits, because I feel like there's not a band locally that you just know you're going to go watch, and then you're going to hear some Dierks Bentley, you're going to hear some Jason Aldean, some Garth, some Alan Jackson. Like, I think that will go over well. So that's something we're working on right now. The name is yet to be determined. Actually, we've got a list of names that we were kicking around. The Last Call Cowboys, the Wine Country Cowboys, Tailgate Party Crashers, Wine Country Troubadours, Wine Bar Junkies, the Barrel Room Bandits. These are all names that we're trying to come up with. So if you have a name for our country cover band, I would love to hear it. All right, boys varsity tennis travels today to Morro Bay. Tuesday, boys defeated Morro Bay 2-1. Thank you, Nicole, for that update. So that's good news. Congratulations to the Templeton boys varsity tennis. And then anybody else, if you've got updates for volleyball, my volleyball connections are out of town. My girls get back today. They've been on the road. And so they finally come home today. I'm excited to see them. And Allison took a couple days off from coaching, but the JV girls had a couple games while they were gone, and then Abby obviously was gone as well, and the varsity girls played as well. So hopefully I can get some updates before the end of the show to share them with you, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, the Small Kicks, that's the name that the guys came up with, and I just rolled with it, Lori. So Tony Domingos again sends me a smiley face, which I think means that he wants to be on the show. And we need a weekly Tony update. What would that segment be like? That would be fun. I also think we should start something called like karaoke, where we get a guest on, and then we have them do a karaoke song and perform for us. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea. So, all right, it's almost 7:30. Terry Wilson and Lindsay Taylor, health and wellness and nutrition is the name of the game, and they're going to help us. They're going to help me actually try to figure out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong with my diet, and then I need to make probably some adjustments. I've been primarily doing like a protein, a fat, and a carb at every meal. With this 75 hard challenge that I'm on, no gluten, no dairy, no sugar, no alcohol. So that's a great start. I actually feel amazing. Day 10 into it, I'm feeling like I'm getting back to the mental state that I love. And so, my head's not clouded. But here's the problem, right? When you live on the Central Coast, when you live in the North County, you're surrounded by like some of the best beer and wine in the world. And so, finding that balance, I think, is the key. I just don't know how to find that balance. I'm like 150% in or not. And so that's been my biggest struggle my whole life, right? Like I've just been, I'm either on or off. There's no like middle ground for me. And so, hopefully at the end of the 75 hard challenge, I can take what I've learned. I can maybe adapt some of the daily habits and routines that I have. There's a next phase. There's like a phase 1 of this 75 hard. Once you finish the first 75 days, you go into this phase 1 thing. And I don't even know what that is. But I know it's like increased diet regimen, and then maybe I think it's like journaling and all these other types of things, which, by the way, I don't mind the journaling. I actually love writing. But the hardest part of the challenge for me has been figuring out when to get that 10 pages of reading in every single day, because by 8:30 at night, I'm just wiped. And I got to get up at 3:30 to go to the gym. And so, I've been able to get the reading done. It's been a challenge. And I think too, it's also has to do with what books you're choosing to read, right? There's a lot of snoozers out there. Luckily, I picked one that's about Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and Chris Christopherson, and kind of them coming into Nashville and the story of them in Nashville in the late 60s, early 70s. And so that's it's like a history book. It's like a music history book for me, which I absolutely love music and I love history. So it's a good combination. So, but yeah, so Lindsay is going to come on, and Terry's going to come on, and then we'll kind of deep dive some stuff with them. Some questions that I have for them are metabolism. I've read a book in the past called Body Confidence, and this guy Mark Donaldson basically says, age, your body doesn't really age. It's more of you're just conditioning it over time to react different ways. And so when your metabolism slows down as you get older, it's not slowing down because you're getting older. It's slowing down because it's got so much preconditioning that's happened to it over the course of a long period of time. And so the Body Confidence book is all about kind of resetting that metabolism. And his method and theory is same thing, like removing sugars and salts and any of that stuff. Super clean eating, small meals, exercise. And his thing actually starts with a fast that goes, or not a fast, a cleanse, excuse me, that you can cleanse for 7 to 14 days. And when I did that cleanse back in 2014, 15, maybe 14, that was 14. That like was a game changer for me. I mean, I dropped literally 16 pounds in 10 days. And so that was something that I was all in after that. But again, that's one of those things that it's, he obviously says you can't cleanse every other week. You got to do it once, you got to reset your body, and then you have to kind of feed it and fuel it with the right things. And so I've kind of been studying that stuff for the last 6-7 years or so, not like to the point where I'm an expert, but to the point where I'm curious and I'm always looking to improve the habits. And so the first step for me is getting a nutritionist on, kind of asking some questions, and figuring out if I'm on the right path or maybe I'm not. So we will see. All right, it's 7:31. I see Kayla and Randy in the waiting room. That's Templeton Youth Football. They're going to come on in, let's see, what time are they coming on? Oh, they're coming on at 7:30. Here we go. All right, we are getting them into the room. Good morning. How are you guys? Kayla, can you hear me? I've got no volume for you. I see Randy.
Can you hear me, Mike?
now. I got you, Randy.
Can you see me?
How about now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now, Kayla.
Good morning.
Good morning. Randy, I can see your beard. Oh, now I can see you. There you go. All
right. Technology.
Right. We got a little bit of a delay going on, but we'll fight through it. So let's talk Templeton Youth Football. How exciting is this?
So exciting. Can't wait to be back.
Absolutely. And Kayla, maybe we'll start with you. So you're the head of the cheer when it comes to the Templeton Youth Football League?
I am, yeah. I've been running the cheer program, took over for Lori Mann, and I've been with the program for 6 years now.
Okay, awesome. And you have children in the league?
I'm in between right now. So my oldest, my cheerleader, just aged out. She's going into high school next year. My son, my football player, he'll be in 8th grade this year. He doesn't know yet if he's going to play, but I think he will. And then I have a kindergartner who will start next year.
Okay, awesome. Randy's saying, yeah, he better play.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
All right, Randy.
I twisted arm last year kind of got him spooked.
A little bit, but it happens to the best of them.
Right, he's a tough kid.
And Randy, you're somebody that probably doesn't need an introduction. If anybody's been around Templeton for any amount of time, they know you. They know that you're involved in youth football, and they know that you're a huge supporter of everything Templeton athletics and just our community and as a whole. So go ahead,
Absolutely.
Randy. Give me your backstory in a minute. I want to know how you got involved in the Templeton Youth Football, how you ended up at Templeton, and just kind of give me that backstory.
Actually, I was in semi-pro football and broke my leg and was laid up years and years ago. And one of our friends said, hey, my kid's playing football in Templeton, you should go down and help them coach. They need coaches or whatever. And this was back in the Bantams, back when we practiced at the park. And so I cruised down there, only knowing the position that I've ever played and nothing about anything else. And lo and behold, in a short amount of time, I was on the coaching staff. And then from that point on, then just kind of moved forward. And people faded out and coaches moved up, and so next thing you know, I'm still here after 13 years. So But
Wow.
yeah, it's
So
been a ride.
13 years Templeton youth football. You've had a couple boys go through the program of your own that graduated last year.
Mhm.
They were seniors. You've got I would say you could probably over 150 players that you've seen kind of go from your womb to high school and then graduate. And I out of all of those players, the ones that I've come across, every single one of them has just had nothing but amazing things to say about you and the impact that you've had on their lives as
Oh,
a
that's awesome.
coach. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. Yeah,
it's
it's unfortunately that the youth side of it is a real thankless program per se. To I mean, we're kind of the ones that kind of get these kids to love the game, and with cheer and football and stuff like that. If it wasn't for these great volunteers like Kayla and everybody there that's part of our organization and all the your organizations, a lot of these kids would just do whatever and fade away, and it's really awesome that we're a part of those kids. And thinking back on over the years, I've had some awesome kids that been a part of their lives and helped them and basically taught them to love the game. And they're it's then going Saturday the game and sit them on the field is just it's a really cool feeling. And to sit there and see those kids that from the time could barely get their head on, or they got their pants on backwards, and just to see them on the field starring Friday Night Lights is just amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's talk about the fruit of your labor and your sweat. And you're right, it is a thankless job that you and Kayla are doing. And really anyone that's volunteering in a youth sports capacity. Kayla, for you, you've got kind of a limited supply, if you will, of kids that to pull from to go into your program. What are some of the things that you do to get little kids interested in cheer, in youth sports?
Really word of mouth. I shove it down everybody's throat that I love it so much, and we have so much fun. And we definitely, it's a sport. I have little athletes out there. They're working hard. And I mean, when I see a little one down at the market or something and she runs up and Coach Kayla, and then she'll tell her little friend, that's my cheer coach. And then the next year that girl signed up too. So to be honest, I, at least for the last couple years, have had a pretty full roster. So I mean, I think we do pretty good on the cheer end. I know football is a little bit harder. I think that there's a little bit more maybe fear in football where, but us cheerleaders, we're doing our thing.
That's awesome. And so as it stands right now, where are you guys in the process of getting this season kicked off? Are you?
I think we're doing pretty good. I mean, obviously what's going to happen, like last year, fingers crossed that, we let these kids, go out and do their thing. But, I think, it's funny that you say the cheer in the football, cheer has always I would love to get some of those cheerleaders to come over and field our teams, sometimes. I mean, there's hundreds of them. And,
And
football,
strong.
Unfortunately, oh yeah, I've had a few girls that came through, played football. Remember last year, Mike, or a couple of years ago, we were trying to get your daughter in.
Yeah, that's right.
She would have been a mean person out there, but yeah. So I mean, we kind of had that kind of with the Isaac Lindsay, a few years back, which really, took us and put us into a nosedive, which I think we're kind of coming out of that. There's been a lot of talk and protection. I mean, gosh, youth football, I mean, can't be any safer than it's ever been. I
Sure.
mean, it's just, I mean, everything is just under the radar now. So, but it's certainly needed for, some players and some kids and parents to kind of just, football isn't, all that bad. They're protected, helmets, shoulder pads, everything more than, that skateboard that they're riding down the street.
Yeah, and so for parents who are kind of on the fence about whether or not they should sign their kids up for football, what grades are being offered? Are you're fielding an 8th grade team and an 8th grade cheer squad, or senior, I guess you could call it? What other ages?
So
Well,
the program
hopefully
goes
we're
from.
gonna.
Go ahead, Randy.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, the program is open for kids from 7 or 2nd grade up to 13 or 8th grade. So if anybody's interested, I mean, you can reach out to us. We'll answer any questions you have. But we also have an interest form on our Facebook page that you can fill out, and that'll help give us a good idea of how many kids we're going to have. Hopefully, we can field a team in every division. But we never know until we get there.
Yeah, and so I put up, I don't know if that's the right link, but you guys have a Blue Sombrero web page.
No.
Is that still active?
Just use
No,
our
we don't use that.
TYFL Facebook page.
Okay, TYFL Facebook. I'm going to put that up here real quick. TYFL Facebook. Let's see if I can get that up here. Share the screen. I don't know if you guys can see that, but is this the one, the right one?
That's us.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to replace that link, disregard the one that I just posted, everybody. But if you do have kids that are interested in joining the league, then you can click on that link and inquire. And you guys, let's talk safety. Let's talk coaching. This isn't a league where your kid is expected to step foot on the playing field and know exactly what to do. This is an instructional league where you're going to have coaches that are devoted to teaching your kids the game, and also in regards to cheer, teaching your kids how to properly stretch, how to properly move, and become a cheerleader, right? And so this isn't something that you're expected to go in and know exactly what to do. So you guys can talk more about that, but I mean, talk about the instruction that these kids get from day one. Like, I'm brand new and I have no idea what to do.
Well, typically, so on the football side of it, I mean, it's basically the kids come in, we definitely don't, sit there and, go out and search for, all these, ballers and stuff like that. Our job, as coaches, our job as an organization, kids love that game, want to come back again next year, win, lose or draw. If, that end up again next year and real pumped up and getting his buddies coming in, and her friends, coming into the cheer squad, us as coaches have done our job, and that's basically our job. We're, we should be a feeder program to the high school, and without the youth, but without the love for the game, helps, that kind of kills the high school if we don't do our job. So that's our job first and foremost. But then from that point on, we teach them how to do everything properly. I mean, there's so many different safety, measures in place for football and tackling and the rules and all that kind of stuff that, it's pretty overwhelming, for the new kids. And sometimes that's what's so hard, because we're not getting those little guys, we're getting the kids that are in, 6th and 7th and 8th grade, coming out for the first time. Whereas, years ago, we'd get those kids coming in at 2nd grade and, teaching them how to get into a, 3-point stance, teaching them that, there's time limits, there's rules, there's, but for the most part, with our coaching staff and all our volunteers that we have, do a really, really good job. And I'm really fortunate to have the people that are involved with us, with us. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, as we're kind of winding down and running out of time, so Kayla, they can get in touch with you guys on Facebook. Are there any events coming up that the community needs to know about, like any specific dates that you want to throw out there?
Not yet. We are trying to come up with our registration dates. We kind of just got that green light. So we'll do some registration. We'll do uniform fittings pretty close after that. And we try to do a fundraiser along with that. So that will be in the next month or so. And then the season starts right at the end of July. So we have a little bit of time. You have some time to think about it. Definitely reach out. Randy, myself, and Lori all man that the Facebook page. So somebody responds pretty quickly. Yeah, we're just excited.
And I'm sure you guys are always soliciting for donations, people to get involved, volunteers, whether it's contributing finances, but also contributing time and sweat equity. And they can do that by just getting in touch with you guys on the Facebook page as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we are definitely ready for board members to come on. A lot of our kids have aged out during this time off. So there's lots of spots for board members, coaches. We'll take you all.
Awesome. Well, cool, guys. As we get closer to the season kicking off, and as you guys need to get stuff out to the community, by all means, please use this platform. Come on anytime you want, and we'll definitely get the word out for you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure, Mike. Appreciate it. This is a pretty cool little program that you got going. So, enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hopefully the community has value in it, and we'll just keep it going as long as we can.
What's funny is this morning I was actually talking to Billy for something else, and just coincidentally, right when I turned on the Buzz show, you were playing that song, and I texted him. I'm like, "Hey, dude," I said, "Are you know Mike Brady?" And he's like, "Yep." That was funny.
You're the one that texted him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Are you surprised?
That's awesome. Yeah, Billy's a stud. I love that guy. He's one of my best friends.
Now keep playing it, man. Like I said, the local music is the bread and butter, man.
For sure. All right, guys. So, well, we're gonna talk health and wellness now. I gotta listen to these girls tell me how fat I am. So,
cool, Mike. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Bye, guys. All right, so that's Kayla and Randy from Templeton Youth Football League. They have a Facebook page that you can catch up with them, learn about all the opportunities to just connect, donate, volunteer, get your child involved in cheer or football. My son went through the program as I think, he played 8th grade for Randy. Well, playing is kind of used loosely. He practiced with Randy, and then he got in an accident, and so he sat out most of the year. But Randy and his staff just were amazing to him and to our family and the community. And so we just we know that they give everything they have to those kids in that league. So I highly recommend it. My wife and I fought getting our kid involved in tackle football for the longest time. He played flag football for probably 6 or 7 years, and we just finally gave in when we moved back to Paso. We knew the coaches that he was going to be working with, so we felt safe and we felt comfortable. And then at a certain point, you just kind of go out on faith, right? And hope that everything's going to be okay. And so that's what we did, and so far, so good. So thanks, Randy and Kayla, for everything that you guys do for our community. All right, at this time, it's time to learn how bad my diet is and all of the things that I'm doing completely wrong in my life. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So I put a call out. I've been on the hunt for somebody, certified nutritionist, health and wellness. I also want to get like a holistic doctor on at some point. Somebody, a group, a team that's going to kind of steer me in the right direction. So I'll give you a little bit of my background, and then we'll go from there. But so in 2014, I decided that I'd been traveling for work for years, and I decided at one point, okay, I need to kind of lose weight and just get in shape, right? Because that's where everybody kind of starts, like, let's lose weight, right?
Mhm.
So I started running, and I was running 35 miles a week, and 6 days a week and 5 miles a day, feeling great. I read a book called Body Confidence, which was written by a guy named Mark McDonald, and his focus was really on uh, resetting your metabolism, right? His theory was your body doesn't necessarily age, and that's not why your metabolism slows down. It slows down because you've conditioned it for so long to react certain ways to different things that you're putting in it. And so
Correct.
yeah, so his whole program started with a cleanse. And so I did a 14-day cleanse and ended up losing like 16 pounds. I mean, it was an amazing cleanse to do. But it was one of those you can't do it every 5 months, right? Because it's just not sustainable. So, but I was able to drop, like, when it's all said and done, I went from 200 pounds to 165 pounds. I was running, I was feeling good. And then, life happens, and but
Exactly.
that was the extent of my working out. And then at 40 years old, I got back from a trip from Costa Rica with some friends, and one of my buddies on the trip with me was like 5 years older than me, but looked like he was 17, like amazing body. I'm like, dude, okay, so how do I look like that? And he's like, okay, just go all in, get a trainer for a year, and don't look back. And then it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so
Yes.
for the past 2.5 years, I've been really kind of doing this fitness journey with Bradford over at the lab, and one of my best friends now. I love the guy. But now I'm at the point where I really want to dial in my nutrition. And so that's why I've been putting the call out to see, okay, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? So Terry, you messaged me. You and I know each other. We've got kids that hang out and have fun together, and your kids are amazing. And we love them. Yeah, we have such a good time with them. And so I was excited to get your message the other day, and then you turned me on to Lindsay. And Lindsay, you're the cheer coach?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just been a couple years. This is my second year.
Okay.
Or whatever this season is, but yeah, this is my second one.
All right, so this is kind of off topic, but how did you guys get from the end zone to the front of the stands? Like,
I said, we're not going to be over here anymore, and we're going to be back where we are, where we're supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a distancing thing, and then I think they just kind of underestimated how much space we have over there on the sidelines, and I didn't want to be in the ambulance pathway again. So yeah, it was just clear that it wasn't the biggest deal for us to be on the sideline.
Well, that's great. Terry says her audio is not working. When I talk,
I can hear you fine. When Lindsay talks, it's just like broken up. I can't hear what she's saying.
I think she might have a little bit of a funny connection going on.
I don't know if it's my laptop.
Well,
I'm connected.
I think it's just intermittent. I live out in the boondocks, and so it's probably like a cow walking by, blocking the Wi-Fi or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, so tell me about so getting back to nutrition. You're a certified nutritionist. Tell me about what you have to go through to become a certified nutritionist.
So it's as much reading as you would want your nutrition coach to do. It's a lot of science, and luckily it's just something that I'm super passionate about. So I went through it, not quickly, but it was it was very easy to go through because it is so interesting to me. But it's a certification, so I'm certified through Precision Nutrition, and I'm also a certified Olympic weightlifting coach. So those I was a competitive athlete, and I was like, I love coaching people, I love helping people, and all that kind of stuff. I started as a dancer, so nutrition has just always been a part of my life. And I knew that there were a lot of people that needed help. So it was more about serving others and being, trying to be of aid to them. And so Precision Nutrition is one of the highest, or one of the most well-respected and recognized certifications out there. So that's what I went with. It's a little more in depth than like something that's like a personal trainer would have, or like that's just kind of like a chapter or two or a segment kind of thing. So but yeah, it's not super difficult to get to sign up to get a certification, but it's very it takes a minute, it takes a little bit to get there. Lots of tests.
and so your basis is really kind of science based, and how the body reacts to certain things. And Terry, you are really health, wellness, and a lifestyle coach, right? You teach people how to apply the science to real life, and just kind of make daily habits, turn them into a healthy lifestyle, right?
Yes, 100%. And I think that's the biggest thing, like what you were saying, I love to work out. Like that's like my jam. And I always thought like, oh, the more I work out, then I can eat whatever I want. But as you age, like like you said, I'm pushing 50 now. And it's like, it's not the same as it was when I was in my 20s and you could work out and eat whatever you want. Like it really becomes 80% of our overall health is nutrition, which I never realized. I was just like, if I just work out as much as I can eat whatever I want. But the older you get, the more you find like that's not the case. Like you really have to pay attention to that. So, really what we teach is just educating about nutrition and making it for the average person, because not every person likes to work out as much as we do, or run or do all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So just educating them about nutrition and making it a daily lifestyle, not a diet, because like you said, you could sustain that for 16 days or whatever you're going to do to do a cleanse, but that's not like every single day, right? We're not going to live our lives doing that. So we just teach overall lifestyle health and wellness so you can sustain it for your life.
So, okay, so let's start with intermittent fasting. Okay, that seems to be a trend right now. There's a few bodybuilders that I follow on Instagram that I think have a lot of great content and tips and things like that. One of the guys is a guy out of Ohio named Corey G. He's a bodybuilder. He's partners with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he's my age, he's my size, but he's looks like, he's just one muscle, right? Like he's insane, but he swears by intermittent fasting. And his is kind of a hybrid where nothing between 9 p.m. and 12 noon, except for his pre-workout supplements that he does. And we'll go into pre-workout supplements here next, but, talk about intermittent fasting. What is the body doing at that point? And, is it good? Is it bad?
So there are some good things to intermittent fasting. But generally, so what he's doing, if you're going by the book of intermittent fasting and, that kind of thing, is you break the fast the second you take the pre-workout, and, depending on how much sugar is in it, how much what carbohydrate is in it, and things like that. So what you're doing is securing a small window in your day where you're going to eat the majority of your calories, and that's really it. And then in the hours, the windows that you create for yourself. So there's like the 14 hours or 16 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, things like that, where there's different things that are happening molecularly in your body, where your cells are turning over, things like that. And that's just what happens to us when we go to sleep. So, so that's my little affirmation reminders up right now. But all of that happens when we sleep, no matter what. So our cells are turning over, our skin is regenerating, our collagen's regenerating, our digestion system is recovering, all of those things. So that's why sleep is such a huge component in a lifestyle, kind of taking hold of a lifestyle. But so like 16 hours, there's a metabolic kind of thing that happens where you're going to, there are studies that are proving this and studies that kind of this too, but that your metabolism will speed up, and then at 24 hours you're in a ketone phase, and so there's a bunch of different phases that you can go in for intermittent fasting.
Right.
The issue is that it's not for everyone. So there have been many people that try because it's not sustainable for everyone. Some people thrive on that kind of schedule just due to whatever they do, but it's not sustainable. And that's what we're looking for, right? Is something that is that's not going to be I'm on the wagon, I'm off the wagon kind of thing, or that's going to give you guilt, or how do I cram 1,000 calories, or more than 1,000 calories, because you don't want to just live on 1,000 calories a day. Yeah. That's not healthy either. So it just depends on what your how your body works. So that's a great thing about nutrition and lifestyle and things like that, is that what works for one may not work for another. It takes a lot of trial and error on how to break your fast, what to break your fast with. How often are you going to do it? They actually don't recommend fasting every single day, just because it can actually cause more stress on your body and creating more cortisol. And we hold in our tummy, and that's where we get the kind of gut pooch thing. It not great for people with diabetes. And then it just depends. It really just depends on who you are and how you're going to react to it, honestly.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, and I think the hard thing about intermittent fasting is it's different for every person. It's different for your age, for what you're looking to do. And to speak to what you said, Mike, the people that you follow that do this are mostly bodybuilders. They're really tuned into what they're doing. The average person is not doing that. They're not working out like that. They're
right.
not,
yeah.
They're not trying to get those type of results. So it's very difficult for just the average person to coach how to do that.
Yeah.
That and also, what are you going to put into your body in your eating window?
Well, that's a good segue. I sent you a couple notes, and in what I'm doing is I'm not necessarily doing any type of eating schedule or pattern, which might be an issue, but what I am kind of living by is, with the 75 hard challenge that I'm on, there's no dairy, no gluten, no sugar, no alcohol, which is great, and what I've kind of gone by is the Mark Donaldson approach with his body confidence book is a protein, a fat, and a carb, really at every meal.
Balanced.
A balanced, and I'm not super regimented with okay, my protein has to be the size of my fist and my fat has to be the size of my thumb. I'm just kind of I'm freaking hungry, I'm going to eat 3 chicken breasts. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to have the ribeye and some broccoli because that's what I want, right? So gluten, sugar, dairy, those 3 things I've been told in the 75 hard, get it out of there. What's the problem with sugar, first off?
Sugar is a drug. Bottom line, especially just with what an abundance there is of it in our food, like the sneaky sugar, things on ingredient list that you don't even realize is sugar. It just is a chemical storm that just wreaks havoc on our body. Skin issues, brain fog. It's awful for your digestion. We're trying to keep the good bacteria alive and fed and well with, the good sugars like, fruit and good carbs and things like that. But like, if we're just talking on sugar, like a Snickers bar or a, cookie or something like that, not saying that cookies are terrible or you should never have them or anything like that. Never, no, I'm not a big fan of like restrictive eating, but yeah, sugar just does and it's very addicting. Your palate completely changes, your tongue changes, and you just want it. That's why kids, when they start, they can't stop because they don't know how to control it. They don't have that ability to control that desire or that urge for it yet. And a lot of adults are like that too.
Yeah. And also the biggest thing about sugar, it causes inflammation in the body. So the biggest thing for me when I started with Arbonne and got educated about nutrition and my diet and all those things, like inflammation is the root of all disease states. So sugar is probably the number one cause of cancer. Yeah. Because it's just causing inflammation in the body, and it doesn't matter like what your actual weight is. So when I actually started, and basically what we coach Mike is what you're doing, like no gluten, no dairy, no soy, all those things that are addictive and they're allergenic. And it's not that, basically we want to eliminate those things so that we can get our body to an alkaline state so that we can be our healthiest when our body's alkaline. So that's why we educate to eliminate those things. But the biggest thing that I saw was the inflammation, because when I started eliminating those things, and I was like the kid that, I never thought I would take bread or cheese out of my diet, because I would eat the whole loaf of French bread before dinner when I was a kid, because I would pull out, take the gooey part out of the middle and just I just loved it. But once I eliminated those things, I didn't necessarily see a change in my weight or anything like that, but I could see in my face the inflammation going down. And so really that's the root of all, what we want to get to is just reducing inflammation, getting your body to an alkaline state, and all those things that you've eliminated is helping you do that.
So there's no diet that just allows me to eat tortillas and cheese and drink wine?
Well, I mean, to be fair,
I wish there was
the whole 80-20, kind of thing. You can allow yourself those meals, at times, but it's a matter of how much, the quantity, it's like having, I cannot eat white pasta. I don't care how good it is. It's great. Actually, Eto pasta I can have without getting sick, because it's fresh, it's homemade. I know exactly what's in it. There's nothing crazy in it, but I get like a hangover. I feel hungover just from having that, or what's the other one? Like pizza. Obviously pizza is amazing, but I pay for it, but almost immediately, just because I do, like Terry, along the same lines, no dairy, gluten, soy, things like that. And you really feel it when you have taken such good care of your insides that when you throw those things on there, it just makes you don't want to do it.
Well, and you can probably attest to it, Mike, because you've done it. So I think most people, and I didn't realize that I felt icky because I was eating all these things. I just, it's just the way we feel. We don't feel good all the time, and we don't realize that food is actually, it can be a cure for our health, but it can also make our health very bad. And once you eliminate those things, and that's why, what we teach in our 30 Days to Healthy Living is eliminate these things for 30 days. And then when you reintroduce them, your body will tell you what it can and can't tolerate.
Sure. Yeah. So you mentioned Lindsay, you mentioned good sugars, fruits. So I'm like all or nothing guy, and I've eliminated all sugar from the 75 hard thing.
Mhm.
So like I'm not doing any fruits. I'm not like I have a plant-based protein shake that I swear by, which is amazing. But it's got natural flavors, you know. I've
Mhm.
eliminated that. I'm not doing any type of sugar in my body. Is that bad? Should I be doing fruit?
Yeah, you want some sort of your brain still needs sugar, but it's the type of sugar that we're putting in there. So something like, I'm not sure what protein you have or things like that, but the it really depends on what it is. But things like apples, green apples are the lowest on the glycemic index as far as apples go. Berries, so rich in antioxidants, so good for vitamin C and things like that. Strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, all the berries. You don't want to overconsume things like melons or pears, anything like that that are that will give you like a blood sugar spike.
Mhm.
Those are kind of ones that you would want to stay away from on that. Watermelon, super hydrating. I just said no melons, but watermelon, super hydrating. Things like cantaloupe, honeydew, grapes, those are kind of sugar bombs. But I was just thinking of something else. Oh, like a grapefruit. Grapefruit is amazing for your digestive system, for your vitamin C intake, for your skin. For it's a good little kind of inside sweeper, if you will. But yeah, so fruits are good. It just depends on how much. Like I literally eat a green apple every day because it's good. It's good for you. It's and it's a good snack too. So
Yeah.
you're not feeling like you need to have something weird.
My
It's the best
grandfather
fast food.
he used to eat a grapefruit every day, every morning, but he would
My
peel it.
grandma too.
He would peel it, and then he'd put like 3 spoonfuls of sugar on top.
That would make it a little easier.
Kind of
Yeah,
counterbalance it, huh?
kind of a little bit, but I get that.
Okay, so have you heard about this diet? Joe Rogan did this thing where it was a meat-only diet for 30 days, and he said that he felt the most amazing that he's ever felt in his life.
Yeah.
But he said that it also wasn't sustainable. So
No,
what's
no.
the deal with the meat-only diet? Which, by the way, my son literally, the guy doesn't eat anything except for meat. It's like,
Yeah.
is that good? What's the deal?
No, it's not good for your digestion whatsoever. So my husband and I did it. Well, my husband did it. We said we're going to do 30 days, and I like to try everything to see how I feel, how it makes me feel. Like I'm my own little science project.
Sure.
And after 2 weeks, I was like, after the first couple days, I was like, and I love steak. I love meat. I like all kinds of meat, whatever. So it wasn't even just that it was meat. It was just the amount of chewing that I had to do. It was a lot of that. How much I had to actually eat to stay full, which you would think like, okay, eat a steak. It's, pretty dense, whatever. But then you don't always want to eat steak. There's almost only so much chicken breast you can eat. There's only so many eggs you can eat, things like that. And it actually depleted my energy like crazy. I couldn't sleep well. Like I had every adverse reaction that you could have to it. But my husband, he liked it. And he said he felt fine on it. If there wasn't any like loss of energy or anything like that. And he has like eczema. And so he felt if he wasn't getting flare-ups or anything like that, but like my science brain and like holistic approach to science and things like that, what I do is I know that he wasn't eating gluten, he wasn't eating any sugar, he wasn't eating any of those inflammatories. And so I'm not convinced that it was just because he was only eating meat and, you know, that kind of carnivorous diet. And then both of our conclusions were that it was just not sustainable by any means. And then inviting other foods back into it was interesting. Yeah. After that, it was lots of water that had to be ingested. But yeah. So I get it, and I know Joe Rogan is like, you know,
he's kind of like you though. He'll try anything because he thinks of it as a science experiment, and he wants to see what his body's reaction is. And
but because he said he did it and he liked it, a million other people were like, "Mom, I'll do it," and this is how I love it.
No, for sure.
You know,
I don't think I would ever do it. I'm just curious as to why somebody would think that that's a sustainable, healthy lifestyle.
Literally have no clue.
And then the other side of it is I'm like in love with this podcaster, Rich Roll, who is vegan. And
I know.
But he's an Ultraman athlete, hardcore athlete, total committed to the vegan lifestyle. So it's like, okay, who do we listen to, right? And then somewhere in the middle is probably where we need to be in making healthy choices. But Terry, question for you. Since I know you work out hard, I work out hard. I'm day 10. I've been, a buddy of mine on the East Coast is day 1,561 of a run streak. That's over 4 years of running at least 2 miles a day, as many as 62 miles a day. He's a hardcore runner. He does shakes and chia seeds and this and that, all kinds of stuff in his shakes all the time. I'm 10 days into it, and my joints are super sore. Like, what are some of the things that I can put in my body to just make sure? You talked about inflammation, right? And so the diet that I'm on right now, I think I've pretty much minimized the amount of inflammation I'm getting from my diet, but there's still a lot of soreness and aches and joint pain happening. Not like crazy joint pain, but I can tell it's there, right? I want my legs to feel fresh when I'm going on a 3 mile run. What are some of the things that I can do diet wise adjusting?
I'm a huge fan of the shakes, the protein shakes. And the more that you work out, the more you need. So I always say, you know, if you're doing 2 shakes a day or whatever it is, if you're working out like immediately 30 minutes after your workout, protein shake with, and I'm a big proponent of supplements as well, because it just, the way food is processed here in the United States, like even if we're eating whole foods and nutrient dense foods, we're not getting what we used to get because just the farming methods, everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So we need those supplements. So I always do a shake immediately after I work out, in addition to whatever I'm already doing. So if you're already doing a shake, have another one, because your body, the more calories your body's burning, the more fuel that it needs. And I think that's a big misconception too, is people, you know, oh, I'm going to work out really hard and I'm going to decrease my calorie intake and I'm going to decrease the amount of food I'm eating. And then your body goes into starvation mode, and then you're not getting all those things. So then your body hurts, right? Your joints are hurting. So I always recommend a shake 30 minutes right after you work out, because you're going to get the protein that you need and all those things to feed your muscles. And I also use a supplement. Ours is called True Sport, Phytosport, and it's just basically amino acids. So once you're breaking down those muscles, right, releasing lactic acid in your body, you want to replace that so that your body is burning the fat and not the muscle, because you end up doing the opposite of what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to build muscle. So I add that supplement to my shake right after I work out.
So True Sport amino acid that's added, and then protein. I've been taught to do like a 30 grams of protein shake. Is that something kind of similar to what you think?
Yes, and you said you're using a plant-based, so ours is a plant-based. It's a pea protein. It's 20 grams of vegan protein,
Okay.
which there's a lot of different proteins out there. There's whey protein, there's soy protein. The difference is the vegan or our pea-based protein, you get 100%, you get 20 grams. Your body can't digest completely whey because it's a dairy product and you just can't digest it. So you're not actually, so say you're using a whey protein and it says it's 20 grams, your body's not actually getting all that protein because it can't digest all of it.
Sure.
So it's not absorbing all of it. So that would be my biggest thing is a vegan protein, because your body can digest all of it and you're actually getting 20 grams of protein.
Okay. And then a couple more things on the shake. Flaxseed. I see a lot of flaxseed. I see a lot of what's the oil that people put in? It's
MCT.
like MCT oil. Like, are those? What's the benefit of those types of things?
Just again, it's hormonally balanced diet, adding those healthy fats, especially when you're working out that hard. And I think we've been conditioned, especially women, to, I don't want any fat in my diet. It was always like, I don't know, when I remember growing up, it was like low carb, low fat, all, that's what I grew up with, that like diet mindset. But our body needs those healthy fats. Our brain needs those healthy fats. So like avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, like all those things are really good for your brain overall health. And you can add all of those things to your shake to just add, so it's more hormonally balanced.
Sure. Okay.
Especially if you're working out hard like that.
And those fats are helping your joints. It's like lubing up, like ready to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oiling the wheel kind of. But yeah, the chia seed, the hemp seed, the flax seed, those things, omega-3s, all of those. That's awesome to put in your shake, especially for recovery. Not before.
All right, and then we're running super long here, but I've got one last question, and then I'd love to have you guys back to talk more about this and kind of continue to deep dive.
For sure.
Before we go, give me your contact info. I'll put it on the screen. If people want to get a hold of you for more information, we can do that. But the last question I have is, okay, so milk does not do a body good. What's the deal with dairy? Like,
No.
Our generation was like conditioned to think that you wanted to get milk in your diet. And then I think I watched a documentary and they said, hey, dummy, cow's milk is really for baby calves.
Baby cows. And that's
hundreds of
it.
pounds in a short amount of time. So yeah, what's the deal with dairy? Why is it bad for you?
Our bodies just don't digest it well. And that's just really the bottom line. There are plenty of other resources to get your intake of calcium and vitamin D, and there's sugar in milk and dairy. Things like then cheese is processed. Things, whatever comes from milk is tasty, but it's not. Oh, hi, little puppy. Yeah, so it's just a bottom line. Our bodies, just the majority of us cannot properly digest it, and then so that's when you get skin reactions, gut reactions, and all of those things that no one wants.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And a lot of it was because it was a marketing thing.
Well,
Yeah.
and over
That
time,
we
it's
were
just
just
the
told
process.
that we had to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hormones that, back in the day, if you were, my grandpa used to milk the cows and it came directly. So
Right.
there was no processing in it, and your body could take what it needed and digest it. But now with all the hormones and the processing, your body just can't digest it and just sits in your gut, and it's not healthy. And again, causes inflammation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Terry, if people want to get a hold of you and learn more about obviously the different things that you could put in your body that help you maintain a healthy kind of a wellness regimen, what's a good email address or Instagram, or what's the contact info?
I'm Terry Bennett Wilson on Facebook, or Terry Wilson VP on Instagram. Probably easiest, just direct message me.
Terry Wilson VP. That's your Instagram. All right. And then for you, Lindsay?
Same thing, Instagram, and it's Lindsay Lee with 5 E's.
What is it?
It's LINDSEY LEEEEE.
5
Lindsay
E's.
Lee.
Okay,
Lindsay Lee.
let me see if I got this here. Let's see if I can put this on the screen. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. All right, so Terry is at Terry Wilson VP, and Lindsay is at Lindsay at Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, you guys have to come back. I've got so many more questions that I want to talk about that we didn't even get into, like metabolism and what causes it to go faster and slower. And obviously kind of breaking down my diet. You mentioned good fats. I'm a lover of avocados. I try to eat one a day, and we use avocado oil when we're cooking all of our foods, and coconut I absolutely love. Like, my thing that I just fell in love with was like chicken breast with coconut and a banana on top was like one of my go-tos.
Tropical.
Oh, it's so tropical, so good.
It's a vacation.
I'm still not doing fruit though in my 75 hard challenge, but now you're making me rethink this. And Amanda, who I'm doing the challenge with, she's doing fruits. I'm just like, again, all or nothing guy. And if I'm going to program my brain to do no sugar, I'm like literally no sugar. So
yeah. But like, I mean, the amount of potassium, berries, and kiwi, like the amount of potassium in a kiwi is greater than a banana could ever wish to be. Yeah. So like, you mix in a kiwi into your shake or add it onto your chicken breast. That sounds delicious also. You're getting, your joints are going to start to feel better.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Healing through food.
Sweet. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. And again, like I said, I'm going to have you guys back. I really appreciate the talk and the tips. And I'm talk to me day 20, right? We'll see how I'm doing. This is day 10. But I will admit, it's great to be back. I'm going to the gym at 4 a.m. again, which I did for 2 years straight, Monday through Friday. And now that I'm back doing that, I feel good. And it's just like, it's the hardest thing I'm going to do all day. And, everything else is just easy breezy. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. The 23 hours outside of the gym is more important than the 1 hour that you're in the gym.
Yeah.
100%.
That you can sustain through time and not just a diet that you're going to do for 10 days or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It's all about creating that long-term sustainability. So awesome, ladies. All right. Well,
thank you
I'll
so
let
much
you
for
go.
having us.
Thank you. We'll see you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that's Terry and Lindsay. I just pushed a button. I don't know what to do here. There we go. Terry and Lindsay, they are, Lindsay's a certified nutritionist and Terry is a health and wellness coach. And they together make a great team of women who know just how to treat your body and what to do to kind of create that healthy lifestyle. And so we ran way late. I didn't get a chance to check in with Mr. Anthony Reed, but here he is. Oh, I can hear myself through your speakers.
You can hear yourself through my speakers?
I got bad feedback, but it's gone now.
Oh, all right, cool.
How are you?
Good. I'm you got me kind of feeling kind of bad with what I'm going to have for lunch this afternoon.
Oh, what are you having?
I'm having Big Brother's barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, after listening to all that, I feel kind of guilty now. But
just all you got to do is eat the meat, Don't get barbecue sauce on it. They I think they got some steamed vegetable stuff there, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm not a vegetable kind of guy, Mike.
Oh man, you got to get it in there. It's good. It's good for
I
your
gotta-
digestive.
I'm kind of like you. I'm all in or all out. So I'm gonna go all in today. So
All right. Well, yeah, it's your anniversary, so celebrate.
yeah, we'll do. And to make you feel even worse, I may have a beer tonight.
Oh, dang.
So
I'm day 10. I'm 65 days away from having my first beer. So
wow.
I'm excited.
Well, I may have two tonight. I may have one for you and one for me. So,
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Barrel House IPA. That's my go-to.
I'm gonna go with 805.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Keep it light. All right.
Yeah, go with 805. Just something light, just something to knock the edge off a little bit.
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Any incidents to report?
Yeah, a couple. There is a vehicle accident at a 3535 El Palmar Road, vehicle versus a pole. Unknown injury that is in the Templeton area, kind of on the back roads, kind of heading into Paso Robles, kind of. And just reading some of the call notes. Sounds like there's two vehicles involved. Unknown of injury. So just kind of watch out if you're in that area as well. And other than that, that's all CHP is reporting. They are just assisting with traffic control off of Highway 46 East at Estrella Road, kind of over the Estrella Road Bridge area. There's construction in that area that CHP is assisting with. Other than that, the roadways are all clear.
Okay. Yeah. Keep me posted on that vehicle accident on El Palmar. That's obviously a road that my kids travel every single day. And so I'm always nervous about them driving these back roads, especially being a kid who grew up here, who had friends die on these back roads. It's something that we just are super nervous about all the time. So yeah, keep me posted on that one. I'm going to let you go. I'm running super late. I've got a half-hour interview coming up right now, so I will check back with you at the end of the show.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks. Anthony Reed, Paso Robles Incidents and Actions. He keeps us posted on what's going on. He just said that there's a vehicle accident. A car went off the road, hit a pole on El Palmar. So that's not a good thing, and we hope that they're going to be okay. So at this point, I'm going to introduce an interview that I tried to get done yesterday that didn't happen, that we ended up taping yesterday afternoon. So here it is. Let me turn this thing on, and we will go. Let's see here. Oh, no, that's not it. Where is it? Here it is, right here. Take 3 of this interview. We're not even going to try to do any of the backstory, time filler stuff. Let's just get right into it. I've got my dad here. He's on the line with me. Michael Wright, my dad. He's an author. He's a podcast host. He's old. He's an old man. And, but he's feeling young. You're feeling good, right?
I am. The alternative to old is dead. So that's better. This is better. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a joke at church when people ask me, oh, is your congregation, are they young, or what's the vibe like? And I said, well, the average age is dead. So
yeah, and unfortunately, that's where a lot of churches are right now.
Yeah, right.
And that's too bad. Yeah.
No, we have a great mix of young and old, and the old. When I say old, it's they're experienced, right? How about that? They're more experienced.
Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it. Yes,
sure.
They're well seasoned.
So, at what point did you figure out that you were, well, as you call it, entering into your 4th quarter? You and I have a disagreement about this. I don't think you're in your 4th quarter, but that's another discussion for another time. But you are entering into your 4th quarter, for the sake of an argument. And at what point did you go, oh crap, okay, so I am in my 4th quarter. What do I have out for me for the rest of the life?
Well, it probably hit me when I turned 50. I don't remember what I was doing at that point in my life, but I don't know, something got me to thinking, oh man, is this it? Is this my legacy? Is this all I'm going to be? Or not, what's my family? What are my loved ones going to think about me when I'm gone? You start feeling aches and pains, and life doesn't go the way it should, the way you think it should. So you start asking yourself those questions. And so probably in my early 50s when I started thinking that way.
Yeah.
And oh, now what? Now what are you going to do? But I started reading a lot and hearing a lot of stories about people in their that weren't young, that were still doing great stuff, still doing good stuff. And it wasn't just about good careers or making lots of money. It was about the impact they were having on those around them, about what they were doing for culture, for society in general. Again, it's not just about, it's about impact, So
yeah,
somewhere along the way, we've all got something inside of us that others could use. And, it's my mission right now to figure out what's here that I can spread out there, and maybe somebody will get some good out of it. So
sure. Well, you've always been a writer. I can remember from my earliest memories of childhood, going through, your old paperwork and stuff, and finding the stuff that you wrote as a teenager, stories that you would write, and you always wanted to be a writer, and then you got into radio, and it's funny that people in radio feel like it's the lowest of the low in the entertainment business, but people outside of radio think, oh, it's radio, wow, that's glamorous, right? But in radio, you employ so many different tools and skill sets, conversation and copywriting and creative writing, and the ability to connect with people that aren't in front of you, but they feel like they're sitting there with you, right? Like that's a huge skill set. But so yeah, my earliest memories, you've always been a writer, whether it's a creative writer in the form of writing commercials or writing stories. And then most recently in the last 10 years, I think you've written and published one book. I've got it right here. And you've got another one that you've written as well that hasn't been published yet.
Well, I'm still messing with it.
Okay.
But I was a ghostwriter for two other people's books too.
Right.
A doctor in North Carolina, a heart surgeon in North Carolina, and a pastor in Houston.
Okay.
So those were fun projects, and of course my name wasn't on them, but I got to cash the checks.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
and you get to use your skills.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Writing is it's not easy for me, especially when you're sitting down at a blank keyboard, staring at a blank screen. Well, now what?
Right.
And it's not easy, but you just stay after it. And the first tip I would suggest for somebody that wants to be a writer is just sit down and start writing bad. Write a lot of bad stuff,
Right.
because eventually it gets better. And that first draft is going to be puke, no question. But the magic comes when you learn how to edit. And the fewer words you wind up using, the better. I did a lot of writing for a lot of copywriting for guys that were selling stuff online. Copywriting is anything. It could be something on their website. It could be a video script for a video. It could be an email they send out. I did a lot of that for a lot of people, for a lot of different products. I started out, before I was copywriting for the online stuff, I was doing voiceover work because they heard I was an old radio guy and occasionally I can get a sentence out without stumbling. So they said, yeah, okay, do this. So I did voiceover for them first, and then, I would make suggestions on the scripts they would provide me. I said, no, this is pretty rough. Can I kind of polish it a little bit? And so then they started paying me to be a copywriter as well. So That's eventually that led me into the stuff that turned into that book and the stuff
Sure.
that is turning into this podcast. So,
Yeah, no, that's great. And specifically as it relates to radio, you have if you're writing commercials, you're basically telling a story, a suggestive story in a matter of a 5 or 10-second increment, a 30-second increment, or a 1 minute increment, right?
Right.
And you have to relay the same type of suggestive selling story in each one of those time frames. And so that in itself is a completely different art and skill set to be able to do that.
Well, it is, but the bottom line is the same no matter what you're writing about. You've got to immediately capture their attention. If you're talking to potential customers, you've got to relate a problem and then relate your solution for the problem. And then ask them to push the button and make the buy, or come on in, or make the phone call. You've got to ask for the business at the end of it. And most everything, nonfiction anyway, is written that way.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here. For these old school North County people that are watching this show, I just want you to say Catania Brothers in your radio voice. How many
Catania
times?
Brothers? What?
How many times did you voice a Catania Brothers spot as a kid?
That's the sausage, right?
It was the jerky and sausage. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a few Catania Brothers.
You did Tackins.
I did Tackins. I did Reddy's.
Reddy's Western. That's right.
Yeah, Reddy Western. I did a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, the last time my voice was on the air in San Luis Obispo County was almost 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That's how long I've been out of there. So if somebody remembers me from 92.5 Country,
right.
You're pretty old. You are pretty old. That was my last job. 92.5 Country in the mornings.
That's right. Yeah. That was a golden age of country music too. The early 90s.
Oh, wasn't it good? I mean, we were playing Garth Brooks. We could have played Garth Brooks every other record. And we were still playing records.
Travis Tritt.
Hanging out with Travis Tritt.
Yep.
In fact, he and I messaged each other a few days ago.
Oh, how funny.
He's still out there kicking around, doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clint Black, Alabama.
Randy Travis, I remember Watermelon Crawl was a big song back then. I mean, gosh, there's so many in that early 90s era.
Yeah.
All right. So you were at 92.5 Country. You were at KPRL. Hey, so KPRL had didn't they have like a KPRA at one point?
KPRA was 92.5 before they changed the call letters to KDDB.
Okay.
When I went to work for KPRL, it was owned by Ray Bryant, and he, great guy. The first time I met him when I went to work there, I didn't know it was him. There was this old guy in scrubs painting a hallway. Well, it turned out he was the owner of the radio station. And he wound up selling it to a couple of guys from Santa Barbara and San Bernardino. And they came up and it got real interesting after that with new ownership. And they changed the call letters to KDDB and made it country.
Okay.
So.
All right. And so in now we're going way back, but Steve Martin, who's the mayor of Paso Robles, current mayor of Paso Robles, worked with you at KPRL.
Yeah.
He was a news guy there.
Yeah.
He's got the Voice of Paso now, which you've done some stuff with the Voice of Paso. So technically you are on the internet airwaves.
In Paso, yeah. Well, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Steve Martin came after you to KPRL?
Steve Martin had been there before I was there, and then when I was there in 1980, or a couple of years later, he came back to KPRL to do news.
Okay.
Yeah, he was gone somewhere and then came back.
And I always tell Tom Gafuri this story. I remember the day I met Tom Gafuri in the lunchroom in KPRL. He walked in. It was a Saturday morning. I had this is probably 1989-ish, 88. I think it was somewhere around there. For some reason, I had the Vanilla Ice CD that I had just gotten. And Tom Gafuri was this young kid out of college wearing an Oklahoma State baseball jersey. Big dude walked in, and he was a new guy working at KPRL at that point. Or who was he working for at that point? He was doing weekend stuff.
He was doing weekends. He was doing traffic at KPRL.
Okay.
We were airing traffic reports for some reason. And then I think I hired him at KDDB to do weekends, I think. And then somebody quit, or we got rid of somebody. And then I think he was doing middays at KDDB.
Okay.
I think. And then ultimately he replaced me in the mornings there.
Got it. And so, yeah. So Tom Gafuri still in the market. He's got his morning show on 98.1. Steve Martin still in town. He's the mayor, and he's got Voice of Paso. And then the other guy that's on the radio in the morning. Well, okay, Kevin Will and Dick Mason, you have ties to as well. Kevin Will came to KPRL after you, right?
Kevin Will replaced me in the evenings at KPRL when Kevin Will was there came after me, and we worked together for a while. And I think he was doing evenings while I was in sales at KPRL.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he wound up owning the place, right? Isn't that crazy?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And Dick Mason had started US 98. This would have been in the mid 80s, I think.
86, maybe 87.
Somewhere in there.
And you know how I know that the albums that came out around that time, because you guys were like a AAA type station. You would play like the Don Henley record dropped when you were working there, which that Don Henley solo album was one of the best albums of the last 30 years. Stevie Winwood dropped a record, Higher Love. That one came out. Sade came out when you were there. The other one was Bruce Hornsby and the Range. Those are like four artists from my childhood that I distinctly remember you guys playing at US 98, and you were in sales there, right?
Yeah, I was in sales there working for Dick, and I filled in a few times on air just because they ran out of people, I guess. And so I did a few shifts on air on US 98.
Sure. Yeah. And then other things that you did was Pure Gold 104.5. When that changed to Pure Gold 104.5, you were hired to basically format and program the station.
I didn't have much to do with the programming other than giving them my 2 cents once in a while.
Okay.
I was hired there as a sales manager.
Got
it. I strongly pushed going the oldies, and I had some input, but I wasn't technically in programming. Yeah.
Okay. And they've since gone away. I think I think they're Coast now. Coast 104.5. It's the revolving wheel of radio frequencies and formats, right?
Radio's a tough business, man. It is tough. My wife's still in radio, but it's totally different. I couldn't go back to radio right now, I don't think, because I don't have any idea what those people do anymore.
Right.
I was talking to a guy the other day online. He says, hang on a second. And he had to do something for us. He was in Miami, and he was on a station in Key West at the time I was talking to him.
Right.
I don't even know how that works. That's
Oh.
pretty amazing.
Just point and click and drop and drag and drop, and you're done.
Yeah, man, sure come a long way from spinning records.
Right?
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and so now the evolution, I guess, of audio as a medium of storytelling and connecting, going from radio to now being podcasting, is for me personally, I'm super excited about podcasting. It's been around for a while. In fact, I was and internet radio has been around for a while. I was at a station in LA that subsequently became the first FM LA station that went all internet at the I think it was 2001 when that happened, and we were like, internet radio, what's that? And then a few years later, Mark and Brian retired, and one of them started a podcast, and everyone's like, a podcast? What is that? You know? And then Joe Rogan started his podcast 10 or 11 years ago. And so podcasting has been around, but it's now come to the forefront, and it's becoming this thing. And everybody's saying we're still in the early stages of it. But there's so much content and information out there, and there's something for everybody. I'm discovering brand new podcasts every single day, referring them to friends. They're referring stuff to me. And it's just wild to think about all of the information and knowledge that's out there. And it's super niche, like what your podcast, and we'll get into that now. Your podcast is super niche, and the market for that, when they find that, they'll be all over it because it's just speaking to them, right?
Well, I hope so. One of the main reasons why I started the podcast was because there's 2 million podcasts out there right now. 2 million. I couldn't find one that addressed what I wanted to say. So I'm trying to do a podcast that I would want to listen to.
Sure.
And that's the way you should try to do art, I think, and anything creative.
You need a sound effect button that you can push during your podcast, and all it says is, "Get off my lawn." It's like an old man sound effect. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. No, I don't need a button for that. I can just yell that.
There you go. All right. So to talk about your podcast, what is it? Who is your target audience? Like, let's get into the meat and potatoes.
The target audience is anybody, I don't know, 40s, 50s on up, who think that they're approaching the end of their life and they're kind of disappointed in the way things are. They're kind of disappointed where they are right now. Maybe they don't feel good physically. Maybe they've got some ailments that they're considering to be just old people ailments. Well, I'm getting old. That's just the way it is. This knee's just going to have to ache every time it rains. They're disappointed in their relationships. They're disappointed in their spiritual life. They're disappointed in the stuff or in their experiences. My message, I guess, is all that stuff can be fixed. It's not too late to do better. It's not too late to be better. As long as you've still got a pulse, you've still got time. That's the message. You can take care of. You can get healthier physically. You can get happier emotionally. You can get smarter. You can take care of your brain today and keep it in good health for a long time to come. That's the message. That's the bottom line.
So was there a specific moment that you can remember where that message just kind of clicked with you and you said, okay, now it's time to turn the page, push forward?
Where that message clicked for me personally?
Yeah.
Or for the podcast purposes?
No, for you personally. For you to start living out that.
I don't know. I went through some career stuff a couple of years ago and wondered what I was going to do with myself. In my mid 60s, I don't feel like my grandpa did in his mid 60s. In one of the podcasts, I talk about remembering a time when they were driving me and my brother back. My grandparents were coming back from Oklahoma, taking my brother and I back to California. And it was 1966, and we were in a little trailer park in Vega, Texas. In 1966, my grandpa was 66. And I remember thinking on my 66th birthday, I said, my gosh, am I that old? What happened? Where did that life go? The life expectancy for my grandpa, born in 1898, 1899, was 40 years shorter than my life expectancy. So we're living a lot longer. Overall, we're healthier. They don't know why exactly, but the life expectancy for Americans dropped by a year last year. And so they're looking at that real close. But our life expectancy keeps going up and up and up. We're going to live a long time. And we're probably not going to be in old folks' homes, nursing homes. Only like 4 or 5% of the population winds up in nursing homes. And that's okay with me. I mean, wheeling around in a wheelchair, slobbering on myself isn't how I want to spend the last days. My dad had a joke when he was being told by his wife to do something to be healthier. Drink that water. Drink another glass of water. He said, yeah, why? So I can spend an extra 6 months in the nursing home. But, I forgot where I was going with that. But we're living longer. We're living healthier. There's no reason to give up. There's no reason to plant yourself on the lazy boy with a bag of Cheetos and just sit there in front of Netflix. Yeah, that's fun once in a while, and I do it, plenty of it. But there's a lot of life out there left to live at any age.
Yeah, no, that's the truth. It's funny. There's a podcast that I follow. This guy's name is Rich Roll, and he has this this tweet that he put out there. He said, "I didn't reach my and so Rich Roll was an attorney who came close to a heart attack at the age of 40, and basically just pushed eject on his career and started over. And so he says, I didn't reach my athletic peak until I was 43. He actually ended up winning ultra marathons, which are like 100-mile bike race, swim, races or whatever, right? He didn't write his first book until he was 44. He didn't start his podcast till he was 45. He said at age 30, he thought his life was over. At age 52, he knows now it's just beginning. And so it's pretty cool. I guess no matter what age you are, as long as you have the right mindset to keep going, that's the key, right?
Hey, yeah. The first 40, 50 years, you're put through the ringer. I mean, life is tough. Mm-hmm. We're all going to face things that we'd rather not go through. But you learn lessons. You get stronger. You get better. And, you just start figuring it out when you're in your 60s. Yeah, you've got regrets. You wish you would have done stuff different. But those were lessons I learned, man. I've got time to keep going and maybe not make those same mistakes, maybe to correct the things I wish I would have taken care of a long time ago. We've learned a lot of lessons. It's time to use those lessons. Yeah. Time to use those wisdom. There's a difference between education and wisdom. And education will get you so far. It's wisdom that carries you to the finish line. That's what I'm looking for.
And so your podcast, and I've listened to a few of the episodes, it does a good job of storytelling, personal reflection, storytelling from your personal standpoint, and then kind of intermixing that with the lesson to be learned, right? And each episode is really another lesson or not lesson. I don't like that word because it's academic, right? It's a antidote or something that you can apply to your life to just kind of give you another tool in the tool belt?
There's a lot of science out there that tells us, a lot of data that tells us how we can be healthier, how we can be happier, how we can maybe live a lot longer. The problem with most of the data and most of the research is it's put in such a way that most normal people don't understand it. And I don't, a lot of it. And it doesn't come to light. A lot of good stuff out there. There's, but you don't hear about it until somebody's trying to sell you something. So this, this data is about, and that's, the book was written along those lines. It was all based on research, on university or government funded studies that tell us how to live better, how to be healthier. So the podcast gets into that a little bit. I mean, things like married people live longer and healthier than people that aren't married. There's science that tells us that.
Yeah.
People that own dogs live longer and healthier. People that go to church live longer and are happier and healthier. So
I'm just going through your book. People that eat more cinnamon.
Yeah.
I hate cinnamon. I can't stand the smell. But your book says consuming even a small amount can reduce inflammation, reduce blood sugar, and lower your LDL, that bad cholesterol number doctors get on us about. All right, so there you go. Tip: in your coffee, replace the cream and sugar with a teaspoon of cinnamon. The change takes some adjusting, but it's so much better for your body and brain. Okay. Yeah. So these are cool. And so your podcast kind of incorporates tips that you have in the book as well.
Some of that. Yeah. Yeah. But some of it's newer stuff that I've run into.
Sure.
Yeah. The brain is a big part of on everybody's mind now, brain health. Dementia and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. It's serious stuff, and there's a lot of people falling to those ailments. And there's debate about how much of it is genetic and how much of it is lifestyle. I believe that a lot of it is lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it may not be correctable, but some of it could be. Science is figuring out ways to regenerate some of your brain cells that we fried in the 1960s. So it's good. There's good science out there, but it's delivered in a way that doesn't come across, that isn't relatable or understandable. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what that, and encourage people.
Sure.
Maybe you're 40, 50 pounds overweight. Maybe your blood pressure is high, and maybe your cholesterol is got the doctor giving you speeches. Man, you can deal with all that stuff, and it's not that hard. So you got to take care of your body. You through your diet, your movement. You got to go to the doctors. Disclaimer here: I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice for anything. But I do want to plant some seeds in heads during this podcast, right? Do your own research and ask your doctor questions. I'm sidetrack here. If you've got a 60, 65-year-old doctor, he's been out of medical school for 30 or 35 years, he or she. Now, their ongoing education is coming, much of it's from pharmaceutical companies. How much of that do you want to trust?
Sure.
Do your own research. Don't believe everything on the internet because it's full of junk. But get your own facts straight. Do your own research. Don't be afraid to ask questions, especially when it comes to dealing with your doctors. So your body, your brain, your heart, and your hands. That's what you've got to take care of, and that's what will keep you happier and healthier and maybe alive for a lot longer. Your body is your physical body. Your brain is how you're using your mind, how you You've got to stretch your mind. You've got to keep learning. You've got to throw your brain loops every once in a while, mix up your routines, do different stuff. Your heart is spiritually, where you at? It's forgiveness. It's gratitude. It's your attitude. It's humor. Man, you've got to go through life with humor. If not, it'll kill you. If you've got to see the ridiculousness of some of what's going on in this world,
Right.
and laugh about it. Otherwise, you're going to freak out about it. And hands is, what are you doing for other people? That could be volunteering. It could be making coffee at church. It could be mowing the neighbor's lawn. It could be picking up the phone and calling somebody that you haven't talked to for 20 years. And something like that's real important right now. Loneliness is especially COVID, with COVID going on, loneliness in senior citizens is terrible right now. And there's a lot of depression, and there's a lot of suicides are increasing, and there's some lonely older people out there that could use a phone call or a visit. So that's it.
So to recap, it's the heart, it's the heart, the hands, the brain, and the body. Those the four things that you want to make sure that you're keeping top of mind in everything that you do, right? Taking care of your body, your physical health, your hands, the actions you take to serve others, your brain, the amount that you are using it, whether you're reading or trying to do puzzles or figure things out, or being creative, those things. And then what am I missing here? The heart, the feeling that you have, the gratitude, the thankfulness, the forgiveness, the joy, the positivity. Yeah, that's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff, and none of it's hard stuff. And you don't have to turn your life upside down to change your life. In fact, trying it all at once doesn't work. What works is just one little thing at a time, every day maybe. I'm just going to drink an extra glass of water today. Tomorrow, I'm going to pick up the phone and call my cousin that I haven't talked to for a long time. The next day, I'm going to smile at that kid at the grocery store and thank him for doing a good job. It's just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those little things built on top of each other, I tell you, a few days of that or a few months or years of it, you're in a totally different place, a totally different mindset physically, and you feel better and you're happier. It's just something little every day in those four areas of life, and you're going to wind up with a new life. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Oh,
Good.
very cool. So the name of the book is 101 Secrets for Living to be 247. And obviously 247 is not the age, it's living a 24/7 life.
Actual results may vary.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that book came out. It's available on Amazon. You could find it. The new podcast is available on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's probably on.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. You know what I discovered? You can go up to your Alexa, and if anybody's watching this right now with Alexa in the room, they're going to love this. You can say, Alexa, play the Winning Your Fourth Quarter podcast, and she'll play it.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Isn't that weird?
So Alexa can do it. The podcast is called Winning Your Fourth Quarter. Let's see if I can pull up the website and share the screen real quick. If people want to get a hold of you, they're going to go to yourfourthquarter.com, right?
They can email me at mike@yourfourthquarter.com.
Okay. And then let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen. Boom, boom. All right, so here it is. And this is the website. You can even get the book on the website. Okay, and these are some of the podcasts. Very cool. So, and actually, you can go to yourfourthquarter.com and click on one of these and listen to it as well.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Well, awesome. Dad, thanks so much. Good luck. This is exciting.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Yeah, it is exciting. Yeah. And good luck with what you're doing here in the mornings. I've enjoyed it, and you're doing a good job, man.
You're to blame for anything I have to do with a microphone. So yeah.
Sorry.
No, absolutely. You've been a huge inspiration with what I'm doing. So thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, I'm excited for you to launch this podcast. Well, it's launched now, but I'm excited to see it go on and become popular, because I do think that there is a need for the message, and I could see it now, little Your Fourth Quarter clubs popping up all over the place, with a bunch of old timers just getting together and sharing stories. So
yeah, swapping lies. That's right. That's what we old guys do.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again. We will talk to you later.
Thank you, man. Love you. Have a good one.
Love you too. See ya. All right, there it is. That was my dad, Mike Wright, and he has yourfourthquarter.com. Good stuff. Super excited for him to launch that. We are way long. I've got the Small Kicks playing in the background, and let's check in with Anthony Reed one last time. Okay, Anthony, we're running long. What's the good word? Any more news on that accident out on El Pomar?
So apparently there was a road rage incident which led to this accident. CHP is reporting that the victim reported to be actually ran off the road by another vehicle, at which that vehicle that caused the accident actually left the scene of the accident, and the victim vehicle it looks to be a some type of a gray Honda. It has a damage. It apparently did not hit a pole. So that was to be unfounded. So it did not hit a pole, but it did hit the vehicle that started the accident, and then obviously that vehicle left the scene. There's reported to be 3 vehicles involved, because the second vehicle didn't hit one other vehicle, allegedly. It's all under investigation.
You're
right now, but
you're breaking up a little, but basically it sounds like there were 3 vehicles.
No injuries at all.
There were 3 vehicles that had
and so it's just vehicle damage. So at this point, so
all right. Well,
no
I appreciate you checking in with us and
which
letting us know what's going on.
Thing.
Yeah. So that's Anthony Reed. He's got obviously some connection issues. So we got his update. Basically, 3 cars involved in that thing on El Pomar. No injuries. So that's good news. So that's it. This is the Morning Buzz. I'm Mike. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And we will see you tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. Good luck. That's it. The show's over. Show's over. Go home. See ya.